You know, at this point, I'm pretty sure I'm just up for anything Phil Lord and Chris Miller put out. So 22 Jump Street is a sequel to 21 Jump Street, which in and of itself was a reboot and sort of a parody of the 21 Jump Street TV show from back in the day starring Johnny Depp. And this movie once again stars Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill as two cops who have to go undercover, and they have to, this time they're going into college as opposed to going to high school in the last movie. And they have to pretend to be college students and find out who's been selling this drug called Wi-Fi, and they need to find out who's selling it and arrest them and make sure that this drug doesn't get too out of hand because it's already led to some problems. And yeah, pretty much from what I just described, you can pretty much figure out it's got almost the same exact plot as the last movie, but there are a few little twists in there, but overall, it's pretty much the same movie. And you would think that wouldn't be very creative or very funny, and that you would have already seen this movie before and you wouldn't have cared, you know, about what's going to happen in this one because you feel like you already saw it with the last movie. And yeah, that's an appropriate mindset to have going into this movie, but I think if you go into with that mindset, you'll actually be pleasantly surprised at how very self-aware this film is. And I think that really is one of the movie's greatest strengths. It's so self-aware, and it knows what it is, and it makes fun of the fact of what it is, and that it's a sequel, and that sequels are rarely as good as the original. And with that self-aware humor, and obviously, you know, all the other jokes and a million little things happening in the movie, it becomes something different. I think this movie actually becomes something that was better than the original. And I thought it was a lot better than the first one. And that's not to downplay the first one. I really liked the first 21 Jump Street, but this movie just stepped it up in a lot of ways. The humor was a lot funnier. And one of my only major problems with the first movie is a lot of times when they were trying to do the action stuff, a lot of the CGI didn't look finished, or it just didn't, you know, feel like really compelling action. Whereas in this movie, a lot of the action scenes are pretty cool, but they don't, you know, overshadow the humor. It's still very funny, and the movie can still have fun with itself while also still having some pretty cool action scenes. And I can't go further in this review without talking about Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill's chemistry. These two have great chemistry in this movie, and in this movie you sort of see the inverse to what happened in the last movie. You sort of see Channing Tatum, you know, sort of getting all the attention, and Jonah Hill going off to be the loner, and it's really interesting to see that dynamic, you know, switched around, but without ever, you know, feeling like you're just revisiting something that you already saw before, and that was something I was really happy with. Like I said, the humor is very funny, and it's very fast-paced, and I feel this is one of those movies you could rewatch a few times because there will be jokes that you missed, and I feel there will be a lot of jokes that you probably didn't hear because you were already laughing too hard because you were, you know, some other funny joke came on screen. And there are just a lot of elements to love about this movie. The end credits to this movie are hilarious. And I don't want to say they're the best part of the movie, because the movie in and of itself it's really solid all throughout, but the end credits of this movie are just hilarious. Like, stay for the credits. The only real problem I have with the movie is towards the end there is this part where it slows down for a little in sort of typical comedy fashion, and there's just this part where there's not a lot of jokes and there's not really much else going on. It's just sort of the sad, mopey period of the movie, and I really wish they hadn't done that, because then after that, when they, you know, kick back up into the investigation, it feels a little disjointed almost. It feels like, okay, we were winding down and now we're just right back into the same plot. And it's hard to explain, you know, if you haven't seen the movie, but if you have seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. And so with that, I'm going to give 22 Jump Street a 4 out of 5. It's a fantastic movie. You should go check it out. It was hilarious. You'll be rolling on the floor laughing. It was just great. You need to go see this. It's really funny. Okay, so you watch this review, or you click here. You can watch some of my other reviews, or you can follow me on these social media sites, or you can click this thing and subscribe to my channel. You'll get reviews as soon as they come out, or maybe, I mean, I don't know, maybe if you're on here on YouTube enough, but hey, I mean, click the button anyway. You should do that, and you should watch these, and you should do all this.